Okay, let's get into this. When most people hear drop shipping, what comes to mind is probably, finding some trendy gadget, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like finding that one hot product.
Run some ads on social media, maybe, and then just
That's
watch
it.
the sales pour in. It's this dream of quick riches you see everywhere online.
That image is definitely pushed hard. It makes it sound incredibly simple. Find a thing, sell the thing, get rich quick.
Right. But the source material we're diving into today, it's from a YouTube live stream, someone clearly doing this at like a massive scale on big marketplaces. They paint a very different picture.
They basically argue that whole common idea. It's pretty short-sighted, actually.
So that's our mission here, to unpack what this expert says dropshipping really is, why that typical approach often, well, fails, and what the actual strategy looks like for building something substantial, something sustainable, according to them. Ready to dive in?
Let's do it. The source cuts right through that hype. They argue that focusing all your energy on finding these, like winning products or chasing the latest trend, it's mostly a waste of effort.
A waste. Why?
Well, those trends just die out so fast,
Yeah.
And try to build a business selling, let's be honest, often cheap Chinese junk that takes weeks to arrive. It makes building customer trust, let alone a brand, almost impossible.
And the ads, the paid ads people rely on?
Often just burn money with that approach, according to the source. The foundations aren't solid. They seem to really dislike that term winning product because it sends people down the wrong path entirely.
Okay, so if it's not about the magic product, what is it?
Their core point is super clear. Dropshipping isn't some secret product-finding trick. It's just a method of fulfillment. That's it.
Fulfillment.
Yeah, simply an arrangement. Your supplier ships the product directly to your customer on your behalf. End of story.
Huh. Okay, just a way to ship things. So it's not just for, like, small startups trying to avoid inventory costs?
Well, this is where it gets really interesting. The source points out that some of the biggest retailers in the world use dropshipping extensively.
Really? That feels backwards for a huge company. Why wouldn't they just stock it themselves?
They give a couple of really strong examples. First, Tesco, the giant UK supermarket chain.
Yeah, huge.
The source says Tesco uses dropshipping for tons of products on their website. You buy from Tesco online, but for certain items, it's shipped directly by the supplier, not from a Tesco warehouse.
Wow. Okay. Any others?
Amazon. They describe Amazon as being largely built around dropshipping, in a sense. They mentioned something like 60–70% of Amazon's entire catalog comes from third-party sellers.
70%.
Yeah. So the source basically sees Amazon as just a drop shipper in that context. You order on Amazon, Amazon tells the seller ships it to you. And this is key, your loyalty is to Amazon. You probably assume it came from them anyway.
Right, and why do these big players do it? It must make financial sense somehow.
Oh, absolutely. Especially with online retail margins being so tight, it lets them offer this just vast selection, hundreds of thousands, maybe millions of products.
Without buying it all up front?
Exactly. Imagine the costs and logistics of warehousing every single thing Tesco or Amazon sells online. Drop shipping lets them offer breadth without that massive upfront capital risk.
But what about the customer experience? Doesn't it feel weird if it comes from some random supplier?
Well, good suppliers ship white label, meaning plain packaging, or even better, packaging or paperwork with the retailer's branding. The source mentioned getting an invoice from their supplier that actually had their reseller logo on it.
So the customer just thinks it came from, say, Tesco or the Amazon seller they bought from. Sneaky.
It's seamless when done right. So the overall picture is that dropshipping is, well, it's everywhere. It's a massive part of online retail because it allows businesses to be these everything stores, which helps them get found more easily.
Okay, so dropshipping equals fulfillment. Big companies use it for scale. But if finding the winning product is the wrong focus, what should sellers be focused on? Especially on crowded places like eBay or Amazon, how do you get seen?
Right. According to this source, the main thing isn't picking the perfect item. It's much more basic marketing. Getting people to know you exist, driving traffic.
Traffic, okay. But how? If you're not a known brand on eBay, how do you get eyeballs? Is it just spending loads on ads again?
Well, the source points to one strategy above all others for marketplace traffic.
Yeah.
And it's probably not what most people think, especially if they're stuck on that single product idea. It's sheer listing volume.
Volume, just having more stuff listed. That's the key.
That's what they hammer home. The logic is, quote, super, super simple. The more products you have listed, the more chances someone searching for anything on that platform bumps into one of yours. It's a numbers game.
So all that time people spend tweaking titles, descriptions, keywords, that's less important than just listing more things.
The source argues, yeah, pretty much. Optimization helps, sure. But they say it's not time well spent when compared to the results that you will get if you just list in mass volume. Adding more listings just has a much bigger impact on visibility.
What kind of volume are we actually talking about here to make, like, real money?
They get specific. If you want to hit numbers like, say, 10K, 20K, 30K a month or more in sales, you have to be listing a lot of volume, not just a few hundred items.
Okay, define a lot. Give me a sense of scale.
Well, they share this really powerful story, an anecdote about one person, a single individual, who's done over 5 million pounds in total sales on eBay, purely dropshipping.
5 million. One person. How?
By having, wait for it, over 100,000 listings active on his eBay store.
100,000 listings. That's insane. So his job is basically just find more stuff to list constantly.
That's exactly what the source implies. He's reportedly doing about 30K a month now, maybe 1,000 pounds a day in sales, and his main focus, finding new suppliers to add even more products. It completely flips the script on the usual advice.
Wow, okay, but practically, listing 100,000 items, what about fees? Doesn't that cost a fortune on eBay?
Good question. Yes, it does, unless you structure it right. The source mentions needing specific eBay store levels, like the Anchor store. Costs around 480 pounds a month once you pass 7,000 listings.
Pricey.
But essential, they argue, because that level drastically cuts the per listing fee, making huge volume actually cost-effective. Trying to list 100K items on a basic account, the fees would kill you.
Okay, that explains why so many smaller sellers might struggle then. They have maybe 100, 200 items.
Exactly. Their conversion rate might be fine. The source mentions 2-4% is typical. Maybe 2% average on eBay, but 2% of hardly any visitors is hardly any sales.
So the answer isn't just optimize more or run more ads. It's list more.
According to this source, yes.
Yeah.
Especially early on. More listings equals more baseline traffic. Ads come later, maybe. They do mention promoted listings on eBay are kind of necessary now.
Yeah, eBay pushes those hard.
They do. But the advice is to let eBay's algorithm optimize the campaign for you rather than just setting a flat rate percentage yourself. Factor the cost in, but let the platform do the heavy lifting on ad optimization.
So the scaling strategy is literally set a target, like 1,000 listings, hit it. Set 10,000, hit it. 50K, 100K, just keep adding.
That's the core idea presented. Keep feeding the beast. Platforms like eBay apparently love new products being added constantly.
Yeah. Okay, so dropshipping is fulfillment. Success hinges on massive volume. Find suppliers to fuel that volume. But managing all that, what happens if a supplier messes up an order? That sounds like a nightmare at scale.
You've hit on what the source calls the potential silent killer of this whole model. Your seller metrics.
Metrics, like feedback scores.
Exactly. Feedback, delivery times, return rates, how fast you answer customer messages, all of it. Think about it. eBay, Amazon, Etsy. They've spent hundreds of billions, the source says, building their customer base. They guard it fiercely.
And they don't want sellers messing it up?
Precisely. They don't want you to be an idiot and mess it up for them. So they watch your performance like hawks using these metrics.
And if your metrics slip?
Bad news. First, they'll throttle your traffic. Your listings just won't show up as often or as high in search if things get really bad. Suspension. Account gone.
Ouch. Is it the same everywhere?
There are differences. The source calls Amazon super, super strict. Like you could get suspended for not answering emails fast enough. eBay and Etsy. Generally a bit more lenient, but metrics are still absolutely vital on all platforms.
What's the real danger zone on eBay, specifically?
Falling below standard. That's the level just above getting kicked off. And the source is stark. If you hit below standard, you can lose up to 80% of your traffic overnight.
80%, that's crippling.
Totally. And digging yourself out is hard. Minimum 3 months for a high-volume seller, maybe up to 1 year for someone newer with fewer sales to dilute the bad metrics. You absolutely have to avoid it.
And the scary part with dropshipping is your metrics depend almost entirely on your supplier, don't they? If they ship late, you get dinged.
That's the crux of it. The source really emphasizes this. Your supplier's performance is your performance in the eyes of the marketplace. You need rock-solid suppliers who deliver on time, ship the right stuff, and provide decent quality.
So if a supplier keeps causing problems,
you need to consider dumping that supplier. Even if their products seem great or profitable, bad metrics will kill your business faster than anything else.
And what about your own part in managing this?
Crucial too. You need to set realistic handling times. That's how long you take to process the order and send it to the supplier. And your delivery estimates must accurately reflect the supplier's actual shipping times. Get those wrong, and your metrics suffer. Keep them on point.
Do you need to be like a top-rated seller on eBay to make this work? Does that really boost traffic?
Interestingly, the source says, not really, not anymore. Being above standard is perfectly fine. That gets you the mass volumes of traffic you need to grow big. Aiming for top-rated or top-rated plus doesn't give the huge traffic benefits it used to, apparently. So just focus on staying safely above standard.
Okay, right. Let's try and pull this all together then. Dropshipping is fulfillment. Big volume drives traffic. Metrics are non-negotiable for survival. How do you actually build and manage this kind of operation? It sounds incredibly complex.
It definitely requires systems. Based on the source, the recommended tech setup is to use Shopify as your central hub.
Shopify. So you're not listing directly onto eBay or Amazon primarily.
Not quite. The idea is you connect your supplier's product catalogs. Often these are huge data feeds into your Shopify store first. They mentioned using an app, like SyncLogic was one example given, to help sync supplier data to Shopify, though they stressed they weren't affiliated with it.
Okay, so all the products live in Shopify first. Then what?
Then you use other apps or integrations to push those products in bulk from your Shopify hub out to the various marketplaces, eBay, Amazon, Etsy, maybe TikTok Shop, wherever you want to sell.
Ah, okay. So Shopify acts as the central brain for inventory and potentially orders, even if the sales happen elsewhere.
That seems to be the model, yes. And selling across multiple channels is highly recommended by the source. Why? More platforms mean more traffic, more attention.
Makes sense. Don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Exactly. They make the point that hitting, say, 10-pound-K a month in sales is significantly easier if you're doing 2K on 5 different platforms, rather than trying to get all 10-pound-K from just eBay alone. Spread the risk, maximize the reach.
And the source mentioned they offer resources to help with this kind of setup.
Yeah, they briefly touched on it. Mentioned having access to their own catalog. I think it was around 3,000 products, but like 50,000 variations, and a program they run, the Shopify Launch Accelerator. Just presented as examples of how someone could get started with this high-volume, multi-channel approach if they needed structure.
Okay. So wrapping up this deep dive, the key shifts in thinking proposed by this source are pretty dramatic compared to that usual online hype.
They really are. First, dropshipping isn't some secret key to finding magic products. It's just a fulfillment method, used by tiny sellers and global giants.
Second, success on marketplaces, according to this, isn't about perfecting a few listings. It's about overwhelming volume to capture search traffic. Quantity over niche quality, almost.
And maybe the most critical point, your service metrics, they're everything. You have to maintain excellent performance, which means choosing suppliers carefully and managing processes tightly, or the platforms will shut down your visibility.
Yeah.
Falling below standard is like a death sentence for traffic.
Right. It's a very different picture. Less about quick wins, more about building a robust, high-volume, operationally sound machine. So thinking about all this, what does it mean for you listening? If the actual path to significant dropshipping income on marketplaces involves managing potentially hundreds of thousands of products and obsessing over delivery times and customer service metrics via third-party suppliers, what part of that reality feels the most surprising or maybe the most challenging to you?